Hi and welcome to Tonya Creates. My name is Tonya Edit. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to design a calendar from start to finish in Adobe InDesign. Now, basically, this tutorial is a follow-up to the last tutorial I did. You can see the card up there to see the tutorial, which was a tutorial which I showed you how to generate a calendar using a calendar script. So without much ado, let's dive in. So in this tutorial, we're going to be creating two designs. One, a wall calendar, or what you would call an almanac, which is a one-page calendar with all the dates and all the months on one page. And the second one is a table calendar, which can be used for gifts and placed on tables in offices and homes. Okay, let's dive in and get started with the first calendar. All right, so we're going to start up with setting up our documents, and in this calendar we're going to be creating an A3 calendar. So I go to my file, new document, and click on A3, which is already one of the presets that comes with InDesign. So I just look through. Okay, I have my width and number of columns. I'll leave that. I'll leave margins. I'll set it up once the page has been created. Then I come up to where we have the bleeds. For the top, bottom, left and right, I make that 3 millimeters. I always encourage designers to always create bleeds from the start of their project, especially if that project will be going to print, because you wouldn't want white spaces around your design in a situation where you created a document that has a bleed. All right, that being said, let's continue. So I click on create. So we have our document set up A3. So we're going to go on and just set the margins and necessary settings. So I go up to layout, margins and columns. For the top, I'll use 170 millimeters. For the bottom, I will go with 30 millimeters. All these things I had already pre-planned it out because when you are working on a project, all those things need to be pre-planned out, or as you go, you can make adjustments. So I go for the left margin, 18 millimeters, right margin, 18 millimeters. Okay, so this area where we have this margin is where my calendar will sit. That's the calendar the months will sit. So one other thing, I'm going to create the frame for the photo. But before I do that, I'm going to pull out some guides to aid me. So for this top guide, I'm going to make it about 20 millimeters. You look up here, that's the Y position. Then for the lower part where the base of the image will be, I'll make that about 160 or 163. 163. All right, so I'll pull out other guides to the left and to the right. Then for the bottom, where we'll have my logo and my address, I'll pull out guides to hold them, taking care and making sure that they are not too close to the bottom part, so that when the trimming will be done in print, we don't mistakenly trim out sections of the content of the calendar. All right, so having done this, what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to create a placeholder for the image. So I go and pick my rectangle tool. So I click and drag. So that has been done. Now the next thing we are going to do is that we're going to generate the calendar. So I'll go to my scripts. If you don't have these scripts, you go to your window, utilities, scripts, and you have it there. And if you want to know how to install this calendar, where to download and install, I will have the links in the description. And also you can check the card above for the video where I showed you how to install the calendar wizard in InDesign. All right, let's go on. So what we're going to do next is we're going to double click the calendar wizard. So once we have double clicked it, we have this large dialog box. We're going to go on to the first month, which will be January 2021, last month December 2021. For the language, I'll leave it as English. Week day heading style, I will let's go with the mid, which is sun. Starts with sun, moon, and so on. Start of the week, we can either do Sunday, Monday, or Saturday. I'll stick with Sunday. Then for the calendar per page, since we are doing 12 months at view, we'll choose 12, and we'll use the document, the current document, and I want the Sundays, the dates of Sundays to be highlighted. And I will uncheck this add text layer. I don't need an extra text layer. So once we are okay with all this, we can go ahead and click OK. So you see that our calendar is being generated automatically. Beautiful. That has been done. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring in the image. I go to File, Place, and I'll bring in this beautiful lady. I'll just click and it places it into the frame. Then I click on this fill frame proportionally so that it fills out all the areas. All right, so my basic design is already set up right here. One other thing I'll do, I have my logo and my assets address in this panel, which is called the libraries. So I'll just drag it and bring it out there. Then I'll bring out the address, which I had already gone ahead to set up before now. We'll look into it as we go on. I'll show you how I did that. Then I'll have a line here just to match what I did, what you saw in the mock-up example. So I'm holding my shift to constrain this line, to a straight line so that it doesn't go off any tangent. So once I do that, Control O, Control plus or Control minus zooms in and zooms out. So I can move this up while holding down my shift to constrain it, shift and my Alt to constrain it upwards. I'll change the point size of this line, and that will do for now. All right, so one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the year. Just click and type in the year 2021. Then I'm going to have the other text here. I think I typed unlimited. I'll leave them in separate frames. Joy in all caps. So for this one, for the year 2021, I used Montserrat, which is a Google font. Montserrat, medium. Montserrat medium, and I will bump up the size to about 30 or 38. I can increase it even more. I want to change this to bold and all caps, and I'll reduce it a little bit. All right, I think I'm okay with that. I can close this up by double clicking. I go to my swatches, click on type, then click on paper, which makes that white. And now to hide those guides, what I do is that I just tap my W. While I'm not selecting anything, I type W on the keyboard and it gives me the preview. Or down here you see preview mode, you have the bleed mode, slug mode, presentation mode. So in this case, I'm looking at the preview mode. So the shortcut is just to tap W to toggle between the preview mode and the normal mode. All right, so I continue formatting. So for unlimited, select it. I used Playfair, display, which is also a Google font, and I had it all caps. All caps. I made that 26 points. We'll come back to that. I select the joy by pressing Ctrl. I make sure the cursor is in the frame, Ctrl A to select it, and the font size for that I used 138. So once we see this plus sign, it means that there's an overflow in the text, so I'll just pull this out. I change the font to Playfair Display, also Playfair Display, and I open that up once again to make sure that the text fits, and I make sure it's all caps. All right, so that has been done. I'll just double click to position this, double click. So what I did was I gave this letter spacing of 320. Close this. I aligned center by pressing holding down Control Shift C as a shortcut to align center, which if you place your cursor within the text, you can see it up here, the alignment. So once that is done, that is aligned, I move this up to align also, to center it, just to make sure I get everything lining up well. And I go to my formatting effects, text, and change this to paper. So I can select them together by clicking on the first text frame, holding down my control and clicking on click on the first on the text frame, hold down Shift, click on the next text frame to select both of them. Then I press Ctrl G to group them so that I want them to move together. All right, so I can just move it and position it where I want it to, and I want to use this guide that I created here to align them correctly. So let me ungroup it first of all. Group it, double click this to make sure that I want the frame to sit tightly on the text. Then I go back and shift click again on this to align. Then I group it. Then I go to my alignment selection and click on align to margins. Then I click just to make sure it aligns to this margin to the right. So if I'm satisfied with that, I can let that be. I toggle the preview mode just to see how it looks without the guides distracting me. All right, so the next step we're going to go on to update these styles, because right now the calendar, the dates are not looking very appealing to me. Now if this is okay for you, can let it be, but you can do more by styling this. So let's go to styles, table styles and cell styles. We'll see that automatically the calendar script created styles for us. You can see the cell styles, we can see the table styles, or just one table style. Then when we go to the paragraph styles, we see that it's created styles for us. So what the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the cell styles, right click on the cal base. Now the cal base basically carries the style, the general styling for the table. So what I want to do here is that I'm going to go down to the stroke and fills, this making sure that the cell strokes are selected, and I click on 0, so that if you take note of the design, you will notice that all the lines have been disabled. So that's what I want. I want it to look clean. Let me move this out. So after that has been done, I go to my paragraph styles. I go to Cal Base also in the paragraph styles. Click on edit. I want to change the font to Montserrat, which is the base font that we're using. And I want to make this 9 points. I can even make it smaller for now. And I click OK. Now why I'm doing that is that so that all the months are edited together, because a style has been created already for each and every item. So what happens is that once I edit once, it cascades throughout all the items where that style has been used. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. So it's either to zoom in, I just click on this zoom key and zoom in, or the zoom tool, sorry, or I hold down my Control Alt and spacebar to zoom out, and just Control Alt. I press Control spacebar to zoom in. Control Alt, zoom out. All right. So next up, I'm going to work on this calendar, the month January 2021, which will, once I do that, it will cascade to all other month headings. So I'm going to change this to 13 points. Then I'm going to change this to all caps. So if I'm okay with 13 months, 13 points, I can let it be, but I want to increase this to let's try semi-bold. I'm okay with that. I can still reduce or decrease this. So once I do that, if we come to the paragraph styles, we see that Cal title has been, an override has been added, and that shows by this plus sign to the right of the style. So how do I effect this styling that I was reading here to everything? So what I just do is I just right click on that style and click on redefine style, and you notice that all the days or all the months of the year have been styled correctly. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to the Cal dates, or the calendar day, which is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So once I select that, we notice that this is highlighted. So I go to the fonts that I'm using, Montserrat. I change this to semi-bold, capital, and I'll just take it down a touch, 7 points. Right click, redefine, and that has been applied to all the dates. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the days itself, the date itself. So you notice that it's already Montserrat, and I want to make that say semi-bold. I want to align it center, right click, redefine, and it applies it to the whole calendar. All right, so one other thing I'm going to do before we call it a completed calendar is that I'm going to add that colored bar that you saw in the example across these days of the week. So what I'll do, I'll just come in here, select that, go into cell, day, edit. Let me do that again. Once I select that cell, right click, edit, and I go to strokes and fields, cell fill color. I want to change that to one of the colors, which is yellow, which I've created. You can check the color swatch in the color coding in the swatches right here. So once I click OK, Control O to zoom out, you see that it has applied it to all the days in the calendar. So the last thing I'll do as regards that would be, I'll come in here in the day, I go to paragraph style, right click, edit. I want to change the color. I don't want it black, I want it to be white. So once I do that, I move up and click on paper, and all the days have been changed to white. So I think I'm satisfied with this, the way the calendar looks, but there's something I just need to do up here. I think, to me, this may be too bold. It might not be for you. So I'll just reduce that a bit. And I think I'm satisfied with that. Then coming to the logo and address, I had already gone ahead to create this before now. So this is the logo, or whatever your logo will be, use that. And I typed in the address. Now the icons, what I did was that I have what you call icon fonts, which is it comes from the website fontawesome.com. That's where all these fonts, the icon fonts, were gotten from. I'll put the description, the link in the description, so you can use it. You can go there, you can download, you can see what you can get. There are free ones and there are paid ones also. So what I did was that I just inserted it using the glyphs panel, and as you can see, I have the phone, I have the globe, which I use to represent the website, I have the envelope for the email, and I have the map pin for the address of the business or the organization or whatever. All right, so that brings us to the end of design for this calendar. As a matter of fact, you can decide to design it and tune it to your own satisfaction. One other thing I will do, bonus, I will have this this calendar saved as a template. I will share the link down in the description. You can go on and download it and play around with it and even use it for your own needs. All right, that being said, we'll dive into the second example. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you learned something, let me know in the comments down below, and look out for the next video, which is the table calendar design. Do take care and catch you in the next one.